You're recognized for your 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you and good afternoon, Chairman Bilirakis, Ranking Member Shahowski, and thank you to our panelists of witnesses for joining us today. The NCAA's decision in 2021 to finally allow college athletes to capitalize on the value of their name, image, and likeness in the open market was undoubtedly correct and also long overdue. For years, the NCAA was content to rake in profits from the multi-billion-dollar business of college sports while hiding behind the inherently flawed and totally made-up concept of amateurism as justification for maintaining an unpaid labor force primarily comprised of Black and brown student athletes. Now that the college athletes have the ability to pursue their true worth on the open market as a result of public pressure, court decisions, and state-level action, which forced the NCAA's hand, we are expected to believe that college sports is in a crisis and on the verge of collapse simply because the jobs of highly paid coaches and administrators have become slightly more difficult. I don't buy it. Ending the legalized exploitation of an unpaid labor force is an inherent good and one we should not seek to put unnecessary restraints on. If we want to talk about protecting college athletes, let's do that. Ending the legalized, let's talk about meeting the long-term healthcare needs of former college athletes who suffer grievous injuries on the field of play. Let's talk about guaranteed scholarships for 4 years. Let's talk about the quality of education these young people receive when the sport they participate in requires time commitments tantamount to full-time jobs and requires more travel than almost any other job. Let's talk about the revenue sharing on the multi-billion-dollar contracts that the NCAA and Power Four conferences earn on the backs of these young people who are overwhelmingly students of color in the revenue-generating sports. We could even talk about the role of agents and their brokers in the new NIL landscape, or the attempts to artificially cap the amount a student athlete can earn in revenue sharing and NIL deals. But let's not pretend that a young person's ability to be compensated for the use of their own name, image, and likeness is some kind of crisis in need of an urgent congressional action when there are far more pressing issues this committee could take up. In fact, if we really want to dive into the core issues facing college sports, in addition to hearing from today's panelists, we need to hear directly from the power players involved in the business of college sports: the NCAA, the College Football Playoff, and the commissioners of the Power Four conferences, particularly Southeastern Conference, the Big Ten Conference, the college athletes who have sued the NCAA for violating their rights and failing to protect their health and welfare, the collectives that are helping to funnel money to students and universities, the agents who claim to represent the best interest of the college athletes, but too often fail to do so, and the accountants who think they can figure out the fair market value of an NIL deal despite the fact that corporations, large and small, are willing to pay ever more money for endorsements from superstars like former LSU basketball player Angel Reese. While I appreciate the desire to examine the issues related to college athletics and the well-being of our student athletes, the lack of participation from the powers that be and all participants in the diverse and complicated ecosystem, likely in part due to the beginning of March Madness, means that we are not ready to address these issues in a very serious way. So I look forward to the opportunity to do so in the future. Having said that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back the balance of my time.